Thanks, Mr. President. The vote was 81-17. What that says to me, and should say to the American people, that not only is there a consensus in this country that everybody wants to fix No Child Left Behind. That's the consensus we began with. Not only was there a consensus in the Senate's Education Committee about how to fix it, which was unanimous in a 22-member committee that includes members that are about as diverse as you could find in the United States Senate. It means that the entire United States Senate has a consensus on how to fix it. A senator from Washington and I were just talking. This is a complicated piece of legislation. There are crocodiles at every corner, any of whom who could have made it difficult for this bill to succeed. And for the United States Senate to take a look at the 100,000 schools in this country, for the 50 million children and the 3.5 million teachers, and say, we hear you, we know you want to end the confusion and the anxiety and the feeling that you're not in charge of your own children. We hear you, and we've listened to you, and we've come up with a solution with which you agree, and that we voted by a vote of 81-17 is a remarkable event. So we have a remarkable consensus that No Child Left Behind needed to be fixed. We had a remarkable consensus on how to fix it in the committee, and it's not many times on a bill this difficult and this encompassing that we have a consensus this remarkable, 81-17 in the United States Senate. I mentioned in my earlier remarks about the importance of the United States Senate in this way. Someone has said that the Senate is the one authentic piece of genius in the American political system. The only claim we would have to that exalted description would be that we're the only part of our government that's created for the express purpose of developing consensus. The House of Representatives is America's sounding board. The country moves suddenly, the House moves suddenly. Our job is to take all the different points of view and to consult with each other and to see whether we can create the kind of consensus so that when people look at the Senate and see a result, they may say, well, I'm not sure I agree with every single thing they did. But if 81 senators of both parties out of 100 believe this is the right way to fix No Child Left Behind, I will accept it. That's the way the Civil Rights Bill was done in the 60s and the 70s. By large majorities, bipartisan groups came to a complicated decision on a complex problem. The way you govern a complex country is by consensus. And the only agency in the government that's capable of creating that kind of consensus on a major piece of legislation is the United States Senate. And it's done that today, and I'm very proud of my colleagues for the way they've done this. I want especially to thank the majority leader for creating the time to deal with it. We took a little more than a week. We came on the floor a week ago Tuesday, so we didn't really take that long. We got on and off the floor pretty quick. But I thank him also for creating an environment where we could adopt a lot of amendments. I mean, senators are here to have their say, whether we agree or not. People of North Dakota expect that. People of Texas expect that, wherever we are. And Senator McConnell has created that environment. Senator Cornyn, Senator Thune, Senator Brasso, the other leaders on the Republican side have been an enormous help. I have during the week thanked the Democratic leader, Senator Reid. On this bill, Senator Reid allowed it to come to the floor without delay. That helped a lot. During the week, he and Senator Schumer, Senator Durbin, the other members of the Democratic leadership, along with Senator Murray, created the environment where we could do what we've accomplished. And especially Senator Murray. I've said often that the reason we're here is because she suggested to me a way to go forward, a way to do this together. And she did that after both of us watched the last two Congresses where we just fell apart into partisan differences. I took her advice, it was good advice, and that's why we're where we are today, and I deeply respect the way she works toward a result. She's passionate on the things she cares about, but she knows that we're here to get a result, and that means, in this case, we need to work with the House of Representatives, which we'll begin to do in the next few weeks, and then we'll produce a bill, send it to the President in a form that he's comfortable signing. There are a number of senators who, because we're able to offer amendments on the floor, withheld their amendment or stepped aside because what they were doing might have interfered with our result. I think of Senator Franken on an amendment he feels powerfully about. He stepped aside, didn't offer it in committee, but waited until the floor. Senator Vitter stepped aside on an amendment that he felt about because he can bring it up in the Judiciary Committee. Senator Lee, Senator Toomey, Senator Burr, all did that. They showed some restraint in pursuit of a result. I want to thank those outside this Senate whose work was so important to helping us. You know, there are a lot of remarkable things about this consensus, but none was more remarkable than what those outside of the Congress thought. It is rare that you see the National Governors Association, the Chief State School Officers, the American Association of School Administrators, the National Education Association, and the American Federation of Teachers all agree that not only did No Child Left Behind need to be fixed, but that this was the way to fix it. And because of that, it made it easier to get a vote of 81-17. And finally, all of us in the Senate know how important staff work is. And in this case, staffs have worked for days and days, and the trust that Senator Murray and I have developed is the same kind of trust that they've developed. So I especially thank David Cleary, who's the staff director of the Education Committee, our Help Committee, and Peter Oppenheim and Lindsay Fryer, Lindsay Seidman, Liz Wolgemuth, Jim Jeffries, Margaret Atkinson, Allison Martin. And on Senator Murray's staff, exceptional staff, Evan Schatz, Sarah Bolton, Mike Spahn, Amanda Beaumont. And then on the floor, those who's have the oil cans, Laura Dove and Robert Duncan, who keep this side greased and working, and Gary Myrick on Senator Reid's side, and Sharon Soderstrom from Senator McConnell's office, Russ Tomlinson, Senator Cornyn's office. There are many others who have helped, but this is a day that I'm very proud of for the United States Senate and for 50 million children, 3.5 million teachers, and 100,000 public schools. It's a big step forward.